So let me take the pleasure of introducing Apoorba. He is currently the enterprise sales lead for India as well as Middle East region, and came all the way from Hyderabad to meet you all in person, and has been a champion of cybersecurity, not just on the certifications. I understand he works with Jay Halsey, who is the CEO of and the founder of the EC Council, and tremendous growth journey. And if you really watch what EC Council has done, and I'm sure you're going to speak about it, and because when we started off, EC Council was there, and we were slightly skeptical whether to go. But today, when we see their offerings as well as the labs and the certifications, I think you have come a long way. We are so glad to actually have this partnership with EC Council. And Apoorba specifically, I think he's just a second away from calls and support that which we have been looking at. He has been with EC Council for the past 7 years, and taking care of not just certifications for enterprise, but also some of the platforms that they have on various simulated environments that they are doing. I'm sure you will go talk about it, but then presenting Apoorba to all of you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Apoorba, right? I think thanks first to Dr. Shinu, the entire Sandeep, the entire team out here of REVA. Before I talk anything about EC Council, right, I think what Dr. Shinu set the day up very beautifully was, I'm not a technical guy, right? For 19 years, I've done sales and sales and sales, right? But one thing you'll always understand is that all of you have to choose, right, what path you will take in the journey what you complete after 2 years. Extremely important. And one beautiful line told by Dr. Shinu is that your network defines your net worth, and that's absolutely now present era. If you look at me, right, top CISOs talk to me, not for technical advice sometimes, but they might talk to me for products, which vendor to choose to, who to talk to, and sometimes it might be for job switch, for kids' education. What I'm only trying to tell out here is that technical knowledge is extremely important, but also utilize your networking skills across, right? Remember that you should not feel shy ever to reach out to anyone. It can be deputy MD or MD of any top organization to the CISO of any large organization. Ultimately, him or her was a student once upon a time. Hence, one important point always to remember is that identify the ecospace in which you want to operate, right? Day in, day out, across Asia, Middle East, India, CISOs I talk about, I see a lot of CISOs become super successful, who are the poster boys of technology, right? You name them, they are there, top 50, top 100, and some of them are not there. But what is the difference I have found is that they network like crazy, number one. Number two, they have created a niche among technology. Either it can be to become a face of an organization or to go above the call of the duty, which means why you're all here, which means skilling and skilling on a real-time basis. As part of my job, I've addressed IIT, IIMs, I've addressed top university students globally. That's my job, right? But I see one thing which is there, hunger, which differentiates each one of the students across platforms. And remember one thing, one critical term we are seeing is that, especially after 10 to 12 years, right, your growth generally staggers. You talk to anybody, you might be at a brilliant level, right? After 12 years, your knowledge or your position will always stagger. So you need to bring in that buffer catalyst. It can be education. It can be, job change always cannot be a great opportunity right now, because right now, and the biggest story, if you see how our edtechs, right, upgrades of the world or anybody, right, are growing at crazy pace because India is ambitious, right? India's population is ambitious. And why? And there's nothing wrong to be ambitious. If you really ask me, right? If you really stuck at a certain level, you can never move ahead. Hence, my request to each one of you out here, I think beautifully Dr. Shinu has set it up. You have an excellent board of mentors. Reach out, talk to them. Make it a point to discuss what do you have issues on a real-time basis. Because between the top bucks of a job to a second level bucks, what really differentiates is your application of technology on a real-time basis. Right? Everybody can talk. Let's accept the fact, right? Anybody can talk about pen testing, anybody can talk about patching up. But do you have it in you to really stand in and get it done? Hence, with the theoretical knowledge, you need to back it up with real practical knowledge and ambition to learn and move ahead. So this would be my important points to each one of you, because hunger and having the clear vision, where do you want to go 2 years down the line? What would be my growth path across which trajectory, which I'll show you what DC Council has been doing. Pick up a field which you really want to do across cybersecurity, but believe me, cybersecurity is the hottest segment right now, is not only for the jobs point of view. All of us know COVID is not going to go, right? All of us are sitting here, right? In spite, COVID still been there because we know that we have to live with COVID. It is a reality check. Same with us. Cybersecurity will be and is the biggest job creator now. There were times data was a new oil, but let me tell you, cybersecurity across, as part of my job, I speak to a lot of government officials. I speak to a lot of, because hacking, ransomware, every government is going through big time. And even the government, even the most laid back bureaucrats now are talking about hiring people with the skill sets. Hence, one of the excellent things RACE has done is integrating courses which will give you a lot of hands-on learning as part of the initiative. Because ultimately, the top box job is all about, do you have it in you if there is a hack? Can you handle it? Not only from the technical point of view, but paperwork, governance, handling media, handling public, right? Before I move to my PPT, let me give a small example. And this, one of my Wharton professor told me way back, 5 years back when I was in US, addressing a students gathering. 5 years back, if I had to fail a startup, what do? There are two startups, example in food business. They're same competing, right? What would you do to fail? 5 years back, classical theory. Block the bank finances, right? Steal the IPS. But now, I'll do nothing. I'll hire a team of hackers. Overnight, data gets stolen, and then data is on dark web. What happens? Startup, customers lose faith in the food, people don't buy, investors pull back, boom, you're dead. Hence, right from SMEs to startup, what I'm trying to tell you here is that cybersecurity is not only right. 5 years back, as you hear stories about cybersecurity is only for 100 million plus companies. No. Even the startups are getting even 5 million, 10 million funding. They first are setting up infrastructure for security. That is a kind of a demand or maturity the entire world is going through. More so because of the startup culture or this investment culture which has come in. Not because the proprietor is worried about the funds, because the investor is worried if this company sinks, what is going to happen. So think about it. What you're going to do in a course is not going to be technical. Since I've gone through the entire course in detail, you also need to understand the entire ecosystem in which a company operates. It is not only about cybersecurity attack. It is about when a cybersecurity attack happens in a company, job losses happen. Company gets shut down, and most important, an important startup loses the day. So when you understand, evaluate it from a 360 degrees of a management culture from a cybersecurity angle. Hence, I'll speak more about reskilling and the need of cybersecurity. My focus to everybody when I talk to is reskill, reskill, and reskill. Right? People tell me, right, I'm working for 18 years, why do I need to reskill? But technology was not there, right? Imagine ransomware attacks were unheard 6 years back. But now, I talk to major CISOs in the pharmaceutical companies who are manufacturing COVID drugs. And they tell me, Apoorba, my board gets 22 ransomware emails every single day. Now, the board was not ready to get 22 emails, and attacks have become more sophisticated. Right? People now talk about spear phishing. People talk about whale phishing attacks at the board level. Is the company ready? How much can you be ready? As Vishal Salvi very nicely put out, right? Security cannot be one department's responsibility. Security is everyone's responsibility within a company for them to succeed. So what do we do as EC Council? Although EC Council does plenty of work, which I'll take you through. But EC Council started 2 decades back fundamentally as a cybersecurity certification provider globally. We secure tomorrow's and today's world. I'll not talk much about this. Fundamentally, we're one of the world's largest cybersecurity training certification company. Globally, any workforce, you talk about armed forces, you talk about major defense forces, they all get trained by us. Why? Because cybersecurity or cyber terrorism is one of the key mandates globally people talk about. Border security. You know, if you remember when Narendra Modi got elected way back, he told a statement in Hindi, wars will not be fought anymore on land, it will be fought on cyber. And that's what all of you can witness, right? Elections are won on cyber. Policies are changed over cyber. People get changed over cyber. So it is no more about company level, it's become a border level force. That's how important cybersecurity as a force has become. EC Council has evolved in last so many years. We've got 140 partners. We are present in so many countries. Our core businesses, we secure systems and work in skilling manpower. That's how EC Council started way back. One of the important point is ultimately, you can ask us, right? What makes EC Council the EC Council is because any certification global body needs to have certain standards of operating process. ANSI is one operating process globally which is followed by global European body, which means that across the certifications what we provide, they stand on certain policies which are given by global bodies. Hence, the certifications what you're taking from REVA will help you to also secure jobs internationally. My next slides are pure data from the net. I'll tell you how critical it is because ultimately you're doing this for 2 reasons. Moving ahead in your career, to get a better jump or to better your profile, as simple as that. So reskilling are directly connected to these 3 aspects. This is core data, right? I've not put Indian context because if you just pull out from Naukri.com, anything, right? It is no hidden fact. Cybersecurity professionals are hotbed for jobs. But then it's important that at what skill sets you are picking up. Ideally, if you see 2 hottest segment right now is the vulnerability VAPT, is a pen testing segment and the forensic side, which has massive job creation followed by SOC management levels. I cannot mention names out here. Top 3 banks in India who have 600 people who manage the pen testing service, which means that the red teaming and the blue team constantly they are attacking and defending. If you give an example, they get 28,000 attacks in a month. Can you beat it? Which means that for people, obviously a lot of people who are not from the cybersecurity side here, right from the time you make a credit card or a debit card payment, which connects to your bank, if that gets hacked, imagine what can happen. I don't want to name a bank out here. If you have been following the news, one large bank made a mistake and their service was debarred by RBI for 2 months. One large bank from India was debarred for doing any business because there was a 2 minutes of a downtime, which eroded data on public domain. Hence, right now, it's a reality. There are market regulators, SEBI, RBI, NHDLs, was sitting like hawk eye, and even if one amount of any downtime happens, your business is down. Right? Imagine the double whammy effect a bank will happen. Remember this, I'm telling this from a forensic SOC and a pen testing level. Imagine I'm running a bank, I'm running a SOC. 1 minute, which means millions of transactions, boom, gone. 1 minute, which means that the trust of a customer's data is gone. And to add to worse, my competition bank will promote on LinkedIn and everywhere. Look at this bank. So it's a guerrilla warfare out there, which means that your competition banks or competition also might be utilizing to bring a server down. That is where how strong is your red team and your blue team is on a day-to-day basis. That's why I'm extremely happy that, REVA or RACE took the decision of incorporating CPENT. CPENT is one of the most prestigious courses from the House of EC Council now. I'll talk about it. It's the most premier pen testing course. The world belongs to pen testers, my friend. Remember this. Because when you are protecting and attacking a network on a real-time basis, if you can protect that, millions and millions of dollars of any institutions are dependent on it. I'll name it. Stockbroking company, e-commerce company, financial institutions, bank. We can name this because it has happened. Bombay Stock Exchange server went down by 0.005 seconds. In their micro milliseconds, they lost millions of rupees of trading money. Right? They were fined by traders. Hence, we live in a world which is reality. But then, who gets the salaries, right? And the best part about this is that if you see India, EMEA, I'm talking about Middle East, the growth, the economies with the financial transactions. When I say financial transactions, I mean in correlation to a Sensex, to a stock market of a Dubai, to a Qatar, to a Saudi, right? The amount of transactions they handle, a Dubai or a Qatar is 5 times or 4 times ahead. The kind of jobs are crazy. You don't have to trust me. Google, find out the same, find out the skill set and map it with you'll understand what kind of money. And the best part is that those countries are still far behind. I know this because I handle that region. Advantage, if you see, just go on LinkedIn. People who are on LinkedIn out here, just go on LinkedIn and pick up top 5 banks in Dubai. You'll find Indians sitting out there. Pick up Oman, top 3 financial institutions, you'll find Indian there. Because Indians, obviously, from the language barrier, they're much ahead of the race. Number 2, they were ahead in terms of cybersecurity skill set. But yes, Saudi is picking up because Salman, the Prince of Saudi, is putting a lot of focus right now on cybersecurity as a practice. And we're doing a lot of work out there. So my job out here, my friends, is that after you finish this course or you have a clear focus what you want to do, world is your playground. The amount of opportunities you'll have, not only from India, from the Middle East, even if you see Australia as a market, is super duper in accepting Indian students or Indian professionals. I know a lot of senior folks of CISOs I know have got placed and they have got residency visas because of the skill set they have. Just note this down if you can. Note down Qatar, Dubai. If you see Dubai, if people have been following news, Dubai has issued golden visas. Do you know that? People have been following that? Especially 15 years of experience, if you have, right? And you have certain skill set from IT, you're eligible for golden visa. Similar norms have been opened by Qatar, by Oman, by Kuwait, by other countries. Why? Because acute shortage of trained or skilled manpower. Qatar, for example, 2022 is a FIFA World Cup. The amount of attacks they are going through is crazy enough, right? So my dear friends, the idea of showing this was, once you enable, you have a clear vision, widen your horizon, not only look at India as a market, but look at markets like Qatar, like Bahrain, like India, which is huge rampant and opportunity for cybersecurity. Also, please connect with 2-3 influencers from those markets or follow them on LinkedIn. You will understand what is the market talking about. For example, the world went gaga about Kali Linux as a security. But then what happened was that parent security has enabled and taken over from a security point of view. So why I'm telling this, because once you follow top leaders, you also understand the trends every country or every segment is following globally. One of the important point what we do as EC Council is that we have close to 220 global mentors with us, which makes us what we are. It's important that every course gets upgraded on a real-time basis. So people who understand CEH, from the classical course from House of EC Council, Certified Ethical Hacking. The 11th version is running now, right? Plus, every course, as I come across, you'll know that has a huge amount of labs or a real-time simulation which is done, which means that it is not only about theory, but how you practice and practice makes the entire difference. And Dr. Shinu will tell you, right? EC Council selected faculty will come and teach you in this college, which means that EC Council's top-notch faculty who have been training for years and years will actually come and deliver this course for you. Plus, you will have a lab experience, which makes a mighty combination. And then, if you do a real networking, you do a real LinkedIn connections, you do this, world is open for you. Most important as part of this is that you also get added, REVA University gets added to a lot of global initiatives from EC Council because we're doing this in close to 100 countries worldwide. So what happens is that we have a lot of students initiators worldwide in US, various chapters we have the kind of work. So you get added to various chapters, which means that you understand what is the kind of a work our other chapters are doing. For example, like Vishal was talking about small projects. We also have a lot of projects which happen at our time basis, right? Right now, the biggest thing we're talking about IoT hacking, we're talking about IoT security, we're talking about IoT and how can we breach at a certain level. And sometimes the best part about this is that you'll have a faculty will deliver to you and the feedback can be captured right back in the curriculum, right? Hence, that's what makes it extremely real-time basis for you to learn. But then, very important for each one of you is that utilization and how do you ask questions and seek more queries out of it. That's extremely important for us. This is extremely important. Now I get into the actual course structure, the entire how EC Council is built. This is as per NIST framework, National Institute of Scientific Studies, which means that tracking. What does it do is that this is a global practice. Any company will follow worldwide, right? This is how, and how this is done, since you guys are experienced, you understand this. All what we do is that we map our certifications to job role. Because every job role will need certain skill set for you to deliver a certain skill set. Hence, they are called fundamental, intermediate, core, specialist, advanced, and executive. A fundamental is somebody who's just joining a job, who's basically at a CSU, which means that I just joined out of after engineering. I have 1 year of experience. What do I need? I just need to know how to secure my system, run my system, and basic understanding of security processes. I do a CSCU. Level 2, I get promoted after 2 years. What do I need to do? I need to understand how do I protect, and I need to defend. So I do a CND, which is Certified Network Defender course, right? This is an intermediate but extremely important. Please understand this. People who are a little senior out here will understand. Any CISO runs a SOC, right? A SOC, Security Operations Center, will have a combination of all these people as part of a team. If you remember what Vishal was saying, and I think you'll also talk about it, Sandeep. Sandeep is an extremely experienced person, and who better than him will know this, that 1-2% can never defend a team. As Vishal has said, you're setting up a team for failure. Hence, what you're seeing out here is a combination of each of the roles is critical for any function to succeed. And this is for each one of you to decide what role do you want to take up from a technical or a managerial point of view. Then we talk about the classic or the most important course, which is called CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker, the most premier, or anybody talks about CEH, I don't give much introduction about it. It's part of a curriculum. You can pick it up if you want it. Definitely, CEH is a huge job creator. And I don't really talk about it. You just have to go on LinkedIn and search CEH. You get millions of profiles having a CEH, right? Why people do it? Because if you are applying for a job, in certain profiles, it's mandatory. If you do not have it, people will say that they'll sponsor you to do it. There are RFPs which come in which says that mandatory skill sets required, which says certain certifications out here. Why I'm trying to stress out here people who do not know little about certification is that please understand they are not good to have certifications. They are must to have certifications. Which means that you're not doing this for a choice. You're doing this because they are directly, proportionately responsible for your job creation. Period. I know HRs of companies tell me, Apoorba, don't give my sales guys or my guys examination watches, they run away. Yeah, so I know organizations who stop their exam vouchers. Because once you put an advanced course, right, you are ready for handpicked. And I'm not saying this. After my session, Google, see the certification value on each one of them. Also, I take the liberty of saying thanks to Sandeep and Dr. Shinu once again. The course has been highly, highly subsidized thanks to their effort. And I'm really, really serious about this. I'm saying this because you can check the commercials. I'm open about it, right? Thanks to Dr. Shinu's efforts, right? We really try to give something which is extremely important for each one of you. But then you have to understand as very senior professionals out here, because after you walk out, each one of you are very extremely seasoned professional out here. Because you're picking up something, or I say Sandeep and Dr. Shinu have handpicked something which is critical in your journey of your curriculum. They have not been picked up because we have recommended this. I repeat, it's not because EC Council has recommended it. It is because it's part of your curriculum journey, which makes you a complete professional at the end of the process. Each of the certification has a journey and a reason. And my next slide, you will see, they have been mapped to job description. In security operations, you'll understand that whenever HR sends out, there's something called a JD, job description at a certain role. So every course is mapped to certain years of experience and what skill set you need. If I'm asking for a 40% jump and a manager role as a pen tester, what do I need? The CPENT or the other courses will teach you that. The CPENT teaches you to be a professional hacker. A CPENT teaches you how to pen test or to hit the network so that it collapses. And you become an excellent red team member. So every certification has a very clear need, and the last part of the journey, you end up after 15, 14 or sometimes 14 years experience, you become a CCSO. Not what Vishal is, what Sandeep are. They are certified or they are Chief Information Security Officers. Why are they called CISOs? Because you are managing a fulcrum of entire element of a business cycle. At a CISO level, you're no longer a skill-enabled professional because then you manage all aspects of business, vendors, suppliers, attack, government, individual, employees, pen testers, every cycle of the life. But then eventually, if you're choosing to become cybersecurity professional at a senior level, your goal should be that. And that's where crazy high salaries, stress, and amazing resignations are there. I know CISOs don't sleep more than 2 hours. But they say, right, a CISO's role is not more than 3 to 4 years. If you really ask me, I'll have diabetes, heart attack. No, it's really tough. It's really tough because tomorrow I'm meeting Dr. at CISO. It's not an easy life, if you really ask me, right? It's very, very tough, very tough. Because in one breach, right, they are easy, CISO, what are we doing? SAG. I know CISOs who are trembling with fear, right? What will happen? What will happen, right? Right. And I don't read, right, the amount of stress the CISO goes through. That's why any classical conference will have one topic always, right? What keeps CISO awake all night? Any classical conference you attend, what makes, right? What keeps the CISO awake all night? And really they're awake, let me tell you. Behind the great designations, behind the great salaries they get, the life is very tough. That's why we actually see a lot of CISOs retire to become mentors, retire to take less steps, because you can't handle that stress for a long time. Especially if you're working in a bank, if you're working in IT companies. And I think Sandeep will tell you that attack vector has really become sophisticated now. The attacks which are very, very minimal right now have extremely become sophisticated. We talk about attacks which nobody has ever thought 5 years back. Hence, even if you see, like since I work with Vishal very closely, even the biggest, largest CISOs are only working on one point: skilling, and skilling. Enabling and learning the skill set on a real-time basis. As part of our offering, we are going to provide you labs. Labs is our cyber range platform which we provide you. Real-time simulation of the entire exercise will be given to you, which means that what you practice, you can go through that on a real-time basis. It's extremely important. How hands-on you become as a person is very, very important. Extremely important part of the process. iLabs from the House of EC Council. One question, wherever in the part of the globe I address, I always get from the senior professionals is that, what is one thing will help me to become one step ahead? You really ask me? It's your real-time simulation. The cyber games. The EC Council faculty who will come out here will be appointed by REVA. He'll make each one of you go through cyber war games. He will take you through real-time simulation attacks, which is going to happen. That is the difference which separates you from any ordinary cybersecurity profession. Ultimately, why should somebody hire you giving you 1x or a 2x salary? Because they know that if a company had a forensic, you know how to address it. If a company had an incident, you know how to report an incident, qualify the incident, and report it. Remember, my friends, one important point, right? People ask me that, okay, Apoorba, I had one of my very senior profession, he literally broke down in tears because the cyber incident he was completely. But then accept it, and Sandeep will tell this to all of you in his addressing, cyber breaches is accepted as a way of life, is now accepted. But what is not accepted by the board or by the governing board is if you do not have a back-end process ready to evaluate, record, and demonstrate what you have done it to counter it and ensure that it does not happen second time basis. Hence, as part of the process, right, it's not only about attack, defend. You learn the foundation of cybersecurity by means you understand how do you record, how do you evaluate the data and prepare it to the board on a real-time basis. Because breach is fine, but were you ready for it? Did you know about it? What action do you take? A classical example would be that if anyone who has visited factories, right? A factory will have number of fire accidents. Number of fire accidents, right? Number of fire accidents reported. Similar in the case of cybersecurity. It's all about now. You might have had an incident, but how did you handle the incident on a real-time basis is your near know-how. Coming to labs, EC Council's iLabs. Most important aspect of any part of the knowledge is your practical know-how. As part of the iLabs, you get real-time simulated environment, which will help you to demonstrate or hack into a system and learn. Because then when you go to a corporate, you're not talking theory. Because when a CISO or a deputy CISO asks you, Zalman, why should I give you a job, a pen tester, right? Zalman will not talk about theory Zalman has learned, right? If Apoorba Kumar is giving Zalman a job, he'll say, here is my IoT device, hack it. Or I'll give you a simulated environment, you have to go through it and protect it. If Zalman crosses that, it's through. Hence, ultimately what every company does, invest highly, heavily, is cyber range or simulated work environment. As we say, to beat a hacker, think like a hacker. If you do not practice on the skill set, you will never able to succeed. Accept it. One of the classical case studies every banker used to provide senior professionals that hack into an ATM, right? People who are from the cybersecurity must have seen this example. Hacking into a banking ATM was a brilliant case study 4 years back. But now people say, my ATM is there, other city, hack it. Right? So what I'm trying to tell out here is that the beautiful part of the iLabs is that you have access to it. You will have a real-time value how you can utilize this, and it's completely simulated environment, which will help you to get and understand what basically will happen in a real-time basis. I know two students of mine, one in Australia and one in Middle East. One person went through the top banks in Bahrain, one could not go in Sydney. Reason? The student extensively practiced on labs. Why am I giving this example out here is Dr. Shilu might facilitate this platform for you. But then how do you practice this on a real-time basis is extremely important. When you get access to iLabs, you'll actually understand, and probably you'll understand the beauty of this product because it's completely real-time basis with real examples. We talk about military simulations, we talk about IoT hacking, we talk about complete company hacking, which means that we have created layers of technology where you can actually see within a company, you can reach layer to layer on breaking the codes completely, right? One of you asked the question, right? What makes a CISO job extremely important? Because he gives an assurance to the management that no incidents will happen. And why does CISO able to give that? Because CISO has built a team of blue team who are able to protect any defect which is happening on a real-time basis. And that can only happen by the practice of on-time or real-time simulation, what it provides you. Why this is important? I'll take 5 minutes here. Extremely important, right? You have to understand why the courses were picked up. Some of them are there is that every course we put it is part of a job description and not as per EC Council. Please understand, it is as per National Institute for Cybersecurity Education, NICE, which means that any IT company in the world, if they're putting up certain criteria for a job posting, they will put up a NICE framework JD. And within that, if this is the role you're looking at, you need to have this skill set. If you're looking at this kind of a role, you need to have a CH skill set enabled within you. Please feel free to ask me any questions. This is extremely important. This will probably come to you next year when you start using the course from December onwards, because you should eventually start getting ready in your mind by next year where do you want to go? And that's where you need to start building. You need to be a pen tester, you want to become a SOC handler, that's where, or you want to become a cyber forensics. I know a lot of people love cyber forensics. Also, you'll understand one critical trend, a psychological trend people have. People who are passionate about, people are passionate about breaking of codes. 99% are hackers. What they become vulnerability assessment analysts, they become threat vectors. People who love to investigate after incident happen, 99% they move into here, forensics. Let's talk about job opportunity. So look at the 3 dimensions I'm trying to map out here. We're talking about job roles, we're talking about courses now. Typical job roles, 90% comes for a forensics investigators, Big Fours. What do Big Fours do? When an attack or an incident has happened, right, from the Big Fours, PwCs, KPMGs of the world, they hire the best people who will investigate and give a report. That incident happened, PwC reaches a team of 6 forensics. What they do? They go through the entire process, they do a postmortem of the entire process, they provide a report. Right? So if you're extremely evaluative, you're passionate about identifying and evaluating, choose forensics. If you're passionate about breaking the code, BFSI is where you need to be. And that's where you need to do all the courses which are regarding threat hunting, regarding breaking the code. And any any banks will be open to just make you get the offer. So as the entire journey of this courses, the curriculum is beautifully built. You'll understand this. There's a very clear growth path you need to choose in the courses as well. Because there's nothing called a generic course out here. Either you move into the forensic side, either you move into the pen testing side, or you move towards the protecting of the asset side, which is again huge demand. People want protectors, people want attackers, and people want people who can evaluate and give a forensics report on this. Clear on this? Everything you do, there is a very clear job opportunity which is tagged to each one of them from a sector opportunity point of view.
One question is, where does the CPENT fall?
Attack. Highest CPENT is attack.
So where does this fit?
Yeah? There an option to choose, right? CPENT and?
Yes.
Yes, CHFI. Pen test.
Yes.
Attack. So as part of the second level of, see what happens in a red team, then there are 3 levels of attack happen. One is the primary phase people. Second is the second or third level of attack, which is the CPENT, where you understand at the highest level what attack vectors happen. So that's why it is equivalent to a licensed pen tester. So that's why we see one level down of a CPENT is a licensed pen tester. You're a master. You're equivalent to a master with a CPENT out there. High demand, very, very, very high demand course that is. We launched about a year back, right? You can Google about it. CPENT, people are so less, people able to finish CPENT in record time are getting picked up like crazy. Very difficult to complete. It's a very tough course. Let me also tell you that. But then it's a high-end, very high-end and advanced course in threat hunting and evaluating the vulnerability matrix within the system. I think it was brilliant, Sandeep's idea of having CPENT and it's a beautiful course, I should tell about. When the professors will take you through the course, you'll actually understand that.
So on top of it, after completing CPENT, we can go for
LPT, licensed pen tester. Which in an LPT, again, Sandeep will tell you, once you become a CPENT and you become an LPT, you don't need a job. I'll tell you why. No, you can become a consultant People hire you for services. So what do you do? Sorry, your name? Afzal. So, Afzal, what people hire you is that people hire VAPT folks per hour basis. What will you do? You will be hired by, for example, ICICI Bank. You will do 5 attacks. You will pay X amount. Because you're a specialist in doing attacks and understanding the system. Right. After there are senior guys who are LPTs in the market, right? After 10, 12 years experience, they work as consultancy across companies. Sandeep will tell you for his companies, they hire VAPT professionals. Just open Google and say VAPT or VAPT demand in the market. Because it's a very difficult exam to pass. Let me also tell you, LPT as an exam, 80 people write to pass. It's very, and it's a 26 hours exam. Right? Only with 4 washroom breaks and 1 lunch, 1 dinner.
One stretch.
Yeah, 26 hours. Right.
Real time, I guess.
Yeah. Your camera has to be on. Right. People ask, you cannot cheat in an LPT. Let me tell you. Right. Because if you cheat, for example, okay, again, people are very crazy. People are okay, stay clear. But ultimately, if I know LPT guys demand $2,000 for 1 hour. Right, 2,000 1 hour. But if you deliver your boom, you become a freelancer with the company. You just do 5, 10 days a day. It's very interesting. I love LPT personally because I know a lot of crazy, And if you see the journey, I'll take a little time. It's so exciting. The journey of a CPENT is for bug bounty. People know bug bounties? Tell me bug bounty. What do you know about bug bounty?
It's like a tester, penetration tester who hack or looks into websites where they have
they remove bugs
or just can't find a bug.
Absolutely correct.
Last year, some guy from US or someone found a bug in Facebook or something.
$50,000 he was given. Yes. So bug bounties is big thing now, right? Bug bounties are basically one step above a CPENT. A lot of freelance guys do bug bounties. What they do? Saturday, Sunday, system kholo, find vulnerability patches in the companies. And they're paid, I'm not joking. If you actually find bugs, you find goodies, you get goodies. Or your company is good, they get $5,000, $2,000, $3,000. And they become so passionate, right? Eventually they become a master. So a journey of a pen tester actually starts from bug bounty. And every company have bug bounties on their payrolls also. Right? Imagine I build a product. If I do not understand the loopholes, then I'm dead. Competition will come, kill it overnight. That's why they hire bug bounties to kill it. Or you have so many people who will attack your product anyways for money. Right? That's why product, if you see CISOs say, don't worry, bug bounties don't attack me, I'll pay you money. As I say, overnight we got up and the website is down. Right? So LPT is a beautiful service, very, very taxing service because highly paid, the most sophisticated vector, right? You don't need a very senior degree to be there. I know folks who are graduates are now masters there. But then I know a lot of senior CISOs who have left the job and they are LPTs now in various companies with consulting. So please understand what I'm trying to give you a different angle to this is that you need to pick up your passion. Right? Money might be lying in CPENT, money might be lying there, but ultimately, what do you really want to do? Are you an investigative or a forensic side? Do you love attacking or do you understand the pen tester model? That side of the business. That is a journey you need to take in the certification in the entire process.
Certification part of your later is any of these things a prerequisite to go to the next level? Like, if we need to take CEH, do we need to finish?
Ideally, yes. If you do not do this, when you go to a job, right, you're not matched to skill set level. Although CH people take about 4 or 5 years of experience, but other parts people should always take it. Because it's a very important question, mind that A certification, if it's not backed by the need, is only a certification. If you're unable to utilize the knowledge or the skill set what you're learning on a real-time basis by your hands-on, what's the value? You're wasting the money of a certification. We really ask. Here, your question, right? See. To give an example, EC Council gets requests from EY, Cisco, and Microsoft. We directly send out people names, about 600 in a year from our side. So VAPT is an extremely crucial part of the entire process. Talking about this, fundamentally, an extremely important part is that here. So here, if you have to understand one part of the process is that you cannot jump in a certification. You need to very soon, you've got Sandeep, you've got Dr. Shinu out here, is that understand which certification you are planning to take. Because they all run in combinations. You can't take an attack certificate and you can do a forensic. Does not help. Because it's a journey of a certification you need to stay on. Here what I'm talking about, if you really want to make pen testing as a way of life, you should start with a CND, you should start with a CEH, and then you move to a CPENT. You cannot do a CPENT and you cannot do a SOC. You cannot do a CPENT, you can go back to another certificate, CHFI. Absolutely waste. Does not help you. Because there is a clear linkage of the certifications with what you do. Am I clear on this? Feel free to ask. Extremely important, please understand this. And also you're a veteran, sir. Sir is an EC Council, actually, thanks for coming. I don't know if sir is an EC Council partner and he has done certifications, all certifications. Do you agree with this, sir?
Fantastic, very good. Very much required in the industry.
So sir is a veteran, right? Imagine sir has done a M.Sc, sir has done all certifications, right? What I'm only trying to say is that please choose clearly which path you want to go. 50% of academic, since I sit in a lot of boards and education institutions and people, principals or deans call me, when you're going for your placements, you should have very clear skill set enabled within you. And I say skill set enabled within you is that you cannot be confused that I studied CH, I studied CHI also. No, it's a disaster. You should be very clear by first year end, I need to become, I'm a pen tester, or I'm a forensic, or I'm a defender. If you want to become, so this is what we say, learning paths. In our terminology, we say this as learning paths, which means that you start with a basic level of defending, then you do a CEH, and you have the best part about this curriculum, thanks to Dr. Shinu, we have CEH, we have CPENT. But this is an extremely rich career path. Let me tell you, be very honest about this part. It's a highly, highly rich career path. There's no doubt about this. And you don't have to trust me. After I leave, check online. Just search VAPT opportunities and Google will tell you. Or search forensics job opportunity. Till mankind is going to survive, VAPT is going to survive, cybersecurity is going to survive. Because attack vector is going to become more and more complicated. Accept it. Cyber criminals, and it's an amazing time to be a cyber professional right now, really ask me. Because there is a maturity. People are willing to give top bucks. I know about 8 years back when my first college, I made a presentation. We're talking about small salaries. But right now, when you guys lead out, you'll have a demand, you can demand the salaries because skilling. It's all about skilling, and you know that which part of the organization structure within a CISO's office you are going to handle. That clarity of thought is extremely important. That you walk into an office and say, I am so and so. Within a CISO's office, I am responsible for this function. If you can answer this question in your head in the next 2 years, you're sorted for next of your life. Because especially this certification eventually can also make you an entrepreneur. You can become a consultant giving services to companies. Yeah.
So do we need to have a programming background to become a consultant?
Not required. It's okay. Yeah, please tell me.
So I just wanted to know, for here only CPENT certification is being provided, because all the other ones are also being provided.
So we have the curriculum we will discuss. See, what they are giving is the entire basket, but what we have integrated is CEH as threat and vulnerability management as a course. CEH with certification is part of it. CPENT, lab, and the training is part of it. We also have CSA, which is the SOC Analyst part of it, which is the certification, the training and the lab. Right?
Security Operation Command Center.
Yeah. So what you would get is in a master's program, right? What we are not, what EC Council has created is a very specific defined learning path. But once you say you are an M.Tech or an M.Sc in Master of in Cybersecurity, we would have to have a little more overall understanding, right? That's why 3 courses from EC Council, plus you will have other things, cloud security, certifications and all that, right? So while for maybe people like Pharmacy, your career path has to be more aligned here. Whereas if somebody like 16 years of experience, you must look at a little more overall understanding. So it's not like one person, one size fits all solution is not there, right? So individually we have to. So you can talk to the mentors and see what could be my career path in this, right? So
yeah, and I'm also really happy to help. Like for example, with Sandeep and Dr. Shinu, if you're having confusion in your head, what you simply need to give me is your job role, basically. Your present job role, where you intend to be 2 years down the line. Simple. Then what we'll give you is that we'll map our courses along to Dr. Shinu. One is, what is the role you're handling right now? And within the ecospace of cybersecurity, what do you intend to handle within a CISO's office? If that is clearly identified by you, rest certifications will follow. Simple as that. What we say is learning path will follow. The practical is one level more further. So what happens is that in a CH practical is the master's level. You can come to EC Council and directly do through us. It's an exam. You are mastering CH at a level up with more hands-on, further hands-on.
practical is the first.
No, CH is first. Level 2 is practical.
Okay.
If you want to further master CH, you can also do a practical.
From M.Tech, next solution that you can do a PhD, then you can do a postdoc, then you can.
Correct.
There is no end to learning, but we decide in shorter time what is that I will do.
Cyber forensics. We spoke about pen testing, right? If you remember, we spoke about now. This is for people who are passionate about forensics. People who want to, in simple, understand that since I'm a student of psychology, right? I only talk about one point, right? People who love to investigate, people who love to understand, who want to look at things more from a subject orientation point, why it has happened, right? You do not like attack, you don't like defend. What you like to do is basically investigation, right? As part of your core. People pick up cyber forensics. And what is the growth trajectory or certification? You do a CEH, then you do an ECRH. EC Council Certified Incident Handler, and then you do a EC Council Certified Forensics Investigator. Why?
One question is like, we also have a role for auditors, right? Risk auditors. So where does it fall?
Yeah. So one of the very good question. One of the key point what is covered in CHFI and ECIH is audits and importance of audits. Ultimately, how is investigation done? Completely by audits.
But we need to have programming, right?
Fully. So I mean, this also is labs. Everything is labs. So what does the CHFI here do? If an incident has happened, how will you investigate it full circle? The job opportunities or the targeted, if you see out here, Infosys, for example, has the biggest people they absorb because Infosys also has a large managed business vertical, which they do. All IT companies, banks, and let's not talk about the big fours because the bread and butter business only comes through consulting. And for them, if an incident happens, they hire and deploy cyber forensics. So if you're more passionate about investigations, you have a keen eye for detail. That's your field. Within a CISO's office. This is extremely important at level 2 and a level 3, where you want to understand the network defense and operation point of view. Here, what you fundamentally do is that you're no longer part of an attack or a defense or a forensic, but you look at the overall system running part. And that is where your SOC comes in a very important part, which means that if you're a kind of a person who looks at a bigger picture, who looks at understanding the security operation command center running on a day-to-day basis, because SOC is no longer about individual teams. SOC is about this class of having various skill set of a RACE program to succeed. For RACE program to succeed, individual skill sets are not required. Collective as a team to succeed, and that's what Network Defense and Operation Command Center teaches you. That's why within EC Council, one important course selected by Dr. Shinu is called SOC. Security Operation Command Control Center course, which I'll take my next slide, is that you know how to run a SOC on a real-time basis. So people must have heard the terms on-demand SOC. You all must have heard, right? On-demand SOC. A lot of companies are now giving away SOCs to other companies to manage. I might be in Dubai, but there are a lot of Indian companies who are managing SOC. So managing SOC is a massive business now. So Dr. Shinu will advise you, if you are passionate about SOC, very important course, you should look about it also. Last slide. Ultimately, we spoke about the 3 important parts of the business, right? One was your vulnerability, or if you want to become a pen tester, 3 courses are given. Talk to Dr. Shinu, right? And Sandeep. And if you have any doubt, email me. I'll be happy to help you. But then you should be very clear that Apoorba, here is what I am at present, and this is what I need to become 2 years down the line. If you want to go into forensic side, if you want to become on the SOC side, you know the career path you need to go on. Number 3, I think what EC Council formally believes is that ultimately, if you have picked up this course, 2 years is not a joke. I think kudos to each one of you. It needs huge amount of commitment, dedication, family time, weekend time, all this, right? Utilize all the resources, especially because I'm representing EC Council. Any questions you have, you can have my email ID from Dr. Shinu. Bug me, ask me for questions, right? It's all upon you and how you can utilize this time to real-time basis. I know for the last 7 years, I've been handling hundreds of students across globally. Some students have I know some of my students who have passed out, who have now CISOs of top banks, right? But some of them are not able to rise. The only difference when I started this presentation was, how do you network? How do you leverage the resources? And remember, no guy is a big guy, no guy is a small guy. If you have a doubt, across CISOs, across mentors, reach out and utilize it. Because ultimately, if you want to move ahead, now is the time. Right? And the best part is, look at the hiring level, right? Because everything what I do, and you should do it, right? What is it you are getting it? Is your salary going in by 2x, 3x, or 1x? Right? Otherwise, why the effort? Because I know this because I sit in the academia board, I get consulted by a lot of academicians. What Dr. Shinu has built as a curriculum is extremely advanced. You're not getting taught something which is out of the blue. Everybody, Sandeep comes with 20 plus years of experience. He himself is a CISO and is managing a large company. All the mentors out there are managing companies and are handling operations. So hence, choose the right career path, what I've told you, and there is no stopping. That's it.